Hi, all. I'm Mary, and I live a life that's just like Harry Potter. Unfortunately, there's no giant with a kind heart in my life, and there's no magic. But hopelessness, well, maybe. I don't remember my parents at all. You see, I was adopted by my aunt. She doesn't really like to talk about my mom and dad, and I don't know why. A funny thing is, she's got a lot of photos of my dad, and she really likes to flip through them when she thinks I'm not looking. And yeah, this woman is really my aunt, my dad's younger sister. She adopted me after my parents fell victim to an aviation accident. They say my mom and dad were returning home from a business trip, and their plane fell into the ocean. I don't know that for sure, though. No one really tells me anything. Being an adopted child isn't actually that bad. Yeah, you often feel sad without your parents, and you miss them even if you don't really know them. Still, I'm not even the only adopted child in my class. There are 3 more orphans there, and all of them look quite happy. I'd be happy too if my adopted family was okay. Unfortunately, they're not. I've got 3 brothers, and all of them are older than me. They are all rowdy bullies who are fond of messing things up, and no one really protects me from their antics. My aunt apparently doesn't mind them. She's okay when they're making a mess in the kitchen or scatter their dirty clothes all over the house. You see, I'm the one who keeps everything in order. I clean the house, I help my aunt to care for her stubborn lawn, I do grocery shopping, and I'm not even allowed to keep the spare change. At least Cinderella had her fairy godmother to help her with all that stuff, and I have no one. My whole day is crammed with numerous duties. I go to school, then I go do homework, and then I do all the chores. Sometimes my aunt works late, and I have to cook for all 3 sons. I don't really like cooking, but they still make me do it. If everything goes okay, in the evening I just fall asleep exhausted. I don't even have any dreams because I'm so consistently tired. Still, sometimes it gets worse. From time to time, my brothers break into my room and ruin my notebooks and all of my other stuff, and I can't do anything about it. There are 3 of them, they're older than me, and my aunt always takes their side. During the weekends, nothing changes too much. Of course, I don't have to go to school, but the list of chores grows even longer. I've forgotten to tell you where I live. Once again, Harry Potter vibes incoming. My room is in the cupboard under the stairs. There's no dirt or dust or spiders or anything bad there, though. But still, my brothers live in a nice, comfy rooms on the first floor, and I've got the place under the stairs. No justice, there's none at all. Well, with a life like that, I had to get used to the taste of injustice. I don't even have someone to complain to. I told the officials at school all about these horrors I endure. I told everything to my neighbors, and I even contacted the child services. But no one agreed to help me. All those people keep telling me that I'm just making things up and my foster family's great. Yet that's all one big fat lie. I don't even have a smartphone, yet all of my classmates use phones, and I've got nothing. My whole life is work, 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 both at home and at school. My aunt is a horrible person, and my cousins are obnoxious bullies. I don't really know how to break away from this nightmare. Right now, I'm just waiting to be old enough to escape this horrible family once and for all.
Hi, all. I'm Susan, Mary's aunt, and I can easily relate to Harry Potter's uncle and aunt, if their foster son was as bad as my girl. My elder brother was always my best friend. He was the one who really brought me up, not our parents, and certainly not the numerous babysitters they used to hire. Our age difference wasn't even that big. He was only 5 years older than me. But when you're just a kid, those 5 years could really make a difference, you see. Our mom and dad were constantly busy. Their jobs occupied all their time. They left my brother and me to babysitters. Those nannies kept us safe and sound, but they never actually bothered to teach us. So it was my brother who actually taught me to read, write, and later on, helped me with home tasks. I got used to him always being nearby, ready to help me in any possible way. Somehow I got lucky, met a nice man and married him at a young age. I bore my husband 3 sons, and my brother was always near to help us. He taught my kids, went fishing with my boys and husband, and was almost a full-blown member of our family. Of course, I hoped that someday my brother would find a love of his own. No, I really enjoyed his company, but he did so much to make me happy, so naturally I wanted him to become happy as well. I was sure that my brother really deserved to be happy. My brother found his true love when my youngest son turned 2. My brother's young lady was a really nice girl, a blue-eyed beauty, calm and gentle. Soon she got pregnant, and in a year, she bore him Mary. Mary was a little jewel of our big family, and all of us really loved that girl. Unfortunately, my brother's happiness didn't last long. It seemed like his life was just getting started. His business grew. He bought a house and learned to be a really good dad. But then a disaster struck. My brother and his wife flew home from another conference, but their plane crashed in the middle of the ocean. No one survived. The insurance paid off, and that was it. Funny thing is, I was really glad that Mary got sick just before my brother's flight, and he left her at home. I really wanted to protect that child, to raise her as a good person in my brother's memory. Unfortunately, I loved her too much, and that was my undoing. So first of all, I adopted my niece. That was quite a simple task. I had all the papers, and no one was actually against it. I knew that it would be hard for my husband and I to take care of 4 kids, but I could do nothing else. Mary was my niece, my brother's only daughter. At first, the girl cried a lot and constantly called for her mommy. I spent countless nights near her bed, catering to her wishes, helping her. My own children were left to nannies and babysitters. Still, the boys didn't complain. Instead, they pitied their little adopted sister. Unfortunately, I was overprotective, and I really spoiled the poor child. Mary was quite used to being the family's greatest treasure. So when I tried to finally assign her some tasks, she took it as a personal insult. When Mary was 6, she was already a spoiled kid. When she wanted something, she did everything she could to get it, no matter what. She held no responsibility for anything. Instead, she was always trying to portray herself as a victim. When she was 10, I tried to involve her into chores. Well, she kind of complied. But in response, she made up the story of a poor adopted girl. Since that moment, she grew fond of portraying herself as a stepmother's little Cinderella, no matter what we did. Mary lived in the best room of our house. She even chose the wallpaper herself. But my niece always told everyone that we made her live in the cupboard under the stairs. When I asked her to wash dishes, she made up stories of how we forced her to do all the chores, and so on and so forth. There are no freeloaders in our house. Everyone does what he or she can. My boys, for example, always do their fair share of work and never complained about it. But Mary told the neighbors stories about her being the only human being in the house who was actually involved in doing chores. According to my niece's stories, all of us were heartless monsters, and she was the poor, exploited child. Worst thing is, we live in a small town. Mary's stories really damaged our reputation. The neighbors started looking at us sideways. The kids tried to bully my boys at school. Even Child Protective Services got involved. Of course, we proved that Mary was making everything up, but that costed us dearly. To this day, I don't know what to do with that girl. The therapist advised to be strict with her, but that didn't work. Besides, I can't be strict with that kid. She's my niece. I love her, and I don't want to make her suffer even a little bit. I really hope that Mary would finally grow up and understand that her life is actually pretty okay, that we love her and that she's really making things up. Maybe then she'd be able to calm down, if even just for a bit. I don't even want to think about her future if she keeps acting the way she is now. What do you think about Susan, Mary, and their story? Tell us your opinion in the comments. Leave likes, share the video with your friends, and if you had a similar situation in your life, share your method of coping with it with us.